for my, I'm looking for that determination. Okay, all right, I just got the determination, got it. Okay, so I'm going to read the determination and I can, there we go. Okay, so instead of, it says I, Aaron Litvack, do I use her name in reading this? Does anyone know that?
I think you would use yours, but do you
Okay.
know Rhett?
I don't know for sure 100%, but that's what I was just going to say, the same thing. So,
Okay, I, Carolyn Kegley, Chair of Unified Police Department of the Budget and Financial Committee of the Greater Salt Lake Board of Directors, do hereby determine conducting the electronic meetings of the UPD board and board committees with an anchor location presents a substantial risk to the health and safety of those who may be present at the anchor location, and hereby authorize the Unified Police Department Board of Directors and board committees to conduct electronic meetings without an anchor location. The foregoing determination is based on the following facts. Federal, state, and local leaders, including the cities, townships, town and county comprising the members of the UPD, have all recognized a global pandemic caused by the spread of COVID-19 virus, highly contagious Omicron variant. COVID-19 cases in Salt Lake County and member communities continue to remain at levels that are the highest at any point in the pandemic. These rates continue to pose a risk of overburdening the local healthcare system. The positive COVID-19 test results continue to be around 33% of people tested on February 9th, 2022. Hospitalization numbers of 650 remain at the highest levels Utah has seen during the pandemic. As of the date of this finding, the 7-day running average of positive tests is almost 1,935 cases per day as of February the 10th, 2022, with 13 people dying on February 10th, 2022. It is difficult, if not impossible, to predict the number of attendees at any meeting and to manage issues regarding social distancing in order to comply with the state phased guidelines. COVID-19 poses a continuing and immediate threat to the health, safety, and welfare of the residents of member committees. The UPD has the technological capability to provide means by which the public may hear or view and hear the open portions of the meetings and to participate in public hearings. This written determination shall be included in the public notice of the Unified Police Department meetings and shall be read at the beginning of electronic meetings held without an anchor location. The public notice of any meeting conducted pursuant to this written determination shall include information on how members of the public may hear or view and hear or make a comment at the meeting. This written determination shall take effect immediately and will expire 30 days after the date written below or until revoked, whichever is earlier. This written determination shall be filed with the public notice website and maintained in the offices of the United Police Department administrative offices. It was dated the 11th day of February 2022 and signed by Deputy Mayor Aaron Litvack, Chair of the UPD Board. Okay. So with that being read, we should do a roll call.
Before we start, I do want to mention that Lori Johnson is attending for Mayor Silvestrini in his absence. I know she's not a voting member of the board, but she is here to listen and be able to inform him. And also, while you were reading that, or just before you started, Steve Perkopis did jump on the line.
There was what?
Steve Perkopis jumped on the line.
Oh, okay, great. Okay, great. So could we have a roll call vote? Who would be the person that would do that?
I'll go ahead and do that.
Okay, thank you, Rick.
Director Bradley. Director Brenz.
I'm here.
Director Dolly.
Present.
Director Flint. Director Kegley.
Here.
Director Litvack,
Present.
Director Olson, Director Peterson. He's here. Director Prokopis,
Here.
Director Silvestrini, and Director Stevenson.
Okay. So from what I understand, we do have a quorum. And I forgot to announce that this is the Financial Committee meeting, and we are holding it electronically Tuesday, March the 8th, 2022, and we began at 8 o'clock. So we'll go to item 2, which is the fiscal year 2022 quarterly budget amendments. Lisa, this is yours. Go ahead.
Okay, thank you. Harmony emailed the updated spreadsheet out yesterday, but Rick also has it and we'll bring it up for everyone. For the most part, these are reclasses within department. I did want to point out that some of the reasons for that, especially in the SWAT department, was for things that were ordered in fiscal year 2021, but because of supply chain issues, were not received until the current year. And so we're not rebudgeted because of the timing of the fiscal year and the budget having been passed. And anyway, those items are not requesting new money from fund balance, just reclassing within the department. We've had, Rick, can you go to the next page? You'll see that we've received some other donations at the precinct level and a wonderful but small donation at the general fund, which was on the previous page. One budget amendment I wanted to point out was in Midvale. Their budget for the year included a second drop car, which I don't know if everyone's familiar what a drop car is, but it's not like a patrol vehicle. It's one that they set out for different reasons. It's not like our officers are driving this drop car in pursuit or in law enforcement functions. They had budgeted or had requested a second drop car for this budget year, but did not receive it until mid-year. And so rather than, we just cut their budget in half for that second car, which is fair since they didn't receive it until 50% through the year. So you'll see that transaction in Midvale's precinct. And then Rick, please go to the next page, and then you'll see a corresponding transaction in the fleet fund. We have to make sure that our transfers balance, or if your transfers don't balance, it means you've either invented money or you've thrown some away. And so we just always have to follow those transfers through. In Fund 72, which is the county fully funded, last year in March, UPD, the county-wide portion, received an additional $25,000 for graffiti enforcement. That was added to the budget last year. However, no expenditures utilized that money last year. So it became part of Fund 72's fund balance as we close the year. This is just bringing that money back in so it can be utilized this spring. And so that is just an explanation. Any questions on this quarterly budget amendment? Okay.
Thank you, Lisa. I don't know whether other people are hearing, but poor Lisa is has a buzz when she's speaking. Is anyone else hearing that?
Yes,
Yes.
it's on and off.
Okay, yeah, it's on and off. It's definitely, we can definitely hear your voice compared to in the past though, Lisa. So we're able to hear and understand it, but that may need to be looked at in the future, especially when we get into anything of, lots of fine detail. Okay, so we can leave item 2 and go to item 3, which is the individual member budget meetings and UPD 101. And Sheriff Riviera, would you like to cover that for us?
Sure. So we have Harmony who sent out a doodle poll. It looks like most members can make one meeting, but 3 can't. So what we've thought of doing is just holding the one meeting, and then we can get with the other 3 members that can't make it and do more of a one-on-one type with that group of 3. And it's just been really difficult to try to get everybody available. We also are going to do that is for a UPD 101. We are also doing one-on-ones with every UPD board member and whoever they want to bring, and we will only go over their specific precinct budget or countywide budget, so we can answer any questions regarding that budget. So you'll see those invitations going out as well. And we're still working on the actual dates. We don't have the final yet, but we'll send it out as soon as we can. Is there any questions from anyone regarding the one-on-one and the 101? Nope. Okay.
Thank you, Sheriff, because I was kind of concerned when I looked at the doodle and I thought, oh golly, all the new people are not able to come, but maybe that'll be better for them one-on-one anyway.
Yeah,
So.
and it could be because they will have more opportunity, to ask more questions. So we'll make it work. It's a challenge to get everybody's schedules, but we will make it work.
Thank you. Thank you. Any other comments on that before we move to the next item? Okay.
I just want to add one thing to that, if you can hear me okay.
Yeah.
And that's, as the sheriff mentioned, each community, each member, can bring, besides their board member, whoever else from their staff that they would like to. And I think that that's important, as we know that, officials change with each election cycle, and there could be new, finance directors or new people who haven't been through that in the past. And so it just allows that opportunity for not just our board members, but for others from that member community to become, aware and informed about how UPD operates and how the budget works.
Thank you, Lisa. I think also it's would be really important, if it's possible, for the Solvisa members to make sure that they attend that, even if they have in the past, because of the upcoming decisions Solvisa has to make. We need to have a firm ground of understanding of the finances of UPD.
And we plan to include them as well.
Madam Chair, this is Steve Prokopis. I have a question. I forwarded that invite to my council, the rest of my council, and our CFO, and I'm just wondering who we RSVP to, since I'm involved. I told them to get back to me, whoever wanted to join me, and I would like to let somebody know I'd come out of Magna eventually. I don't have that number today, but
Yeah, that would be Harmony. Just make sure you give her a final number, because we will be having refreshments and we have to account, for how many are going to be there, so we have enough.
okay, let her know. Thanks.
Okay.
Thank you, Steve. I did the same too, and I didn't think that they would need an RSP. So that's good thank you for bringing that up. Okay, so any other questions before we move on? All right, well, then let's move to item 4, fiscal year 2022 to 23 budget process update from Lisa.
Thank you. Over the past, especially last year and now this year, I feel like our commanders have worked diligently to get their operational.
Lisa, I'm going to interrupt you because you're really breaking up.
Okay.
I think if you sit further back, it might help if you want to try that.
Okay, is that better?
No, it didn't work.
Okay, I'll try to find a magic point. sadly, I did get new equipment, but
There you
Mike,
go.
is this better?
Mhm.
Okay. Okay, so I was just sharing that we've done a good job with the commander's help and precinct chiefs and those who are over, the budget in different areas or different positions, getting all of the operational budgets in. They're in, the notes are keyed. We're actually, preparing to even assemble the budget presentation already, leaving the biggest part of the budget, which is benefits and compensation. And Chief Ackerman has a committee meeting scheduled for next Wednesday, the 16th, with the Benefits and Comp Committee. And we know we've received our quote, I guess, from our health insurance. So we know where that sits. The committee will, make a recommendation to the board about whether UPD absorbs the increase or it's passed on to the employees. We need to know those types of things in order to finish the budget. And also, again, the board's goal or intent as far as market placement. And so when we get past that committee meeting and it's discussed with the board and we get direction, we can move forward on finishing the wage and benefits part of the budget. Just to let the board know, no surprise to anyone if you've been watching the price at the gas pumps or listening to the news. In the current year, we budgeted gasoline in the budget. We took the prior year's actual miles driven by division, and we used $2.60 a gallon. It's important to note that UPD is tax exempt. We do work with Mansfield, our gas card company, and the federal gasoline taxes, the excise tax is taken off right from Mansfield when we receive that bill. The state tax we pay, but we get reimbursed. And so our gasoline does come in much cheaper than you see at the pump because we have, I don't like the word taken advantage of, but we've identified a savings that we're eligible for, and we have we do take advantage of that discount of the tax exempt, which saves UPD and its members a lot of money. However, the current or the new budget year, we've used $4 a gallon, and I'm not sure, which I'm sure every one of you who works on a budget from your individual member communities may be struggling too with knowing how to budget for gasoline. So I just want the committee to know, the board to know that we're watching this, and we may have to adjust the $4 to something else either prior to budget adoption, but we'll keep a watch on that, and we'll work with the fleet people and bring back to the board, as we get closer to May and June. Hopefully we'll have a number that is a little bit more dependable than what we know right now. So any ideas on that? Is that a fair approach?
I would say so. This is Carolyn.
I would say it's always best to start high. So whatever you think it's going to be, start higher.
Okay. Okay. I just don't want the members to be shocked when they say last year, our precinct or our division, whichever it happens to be, the gas was this amount. We haven't added any staffing. Why is the gas now half again as much? But that shouldn't be a surprise to anyone.
I don't think it'll be a surprise to anyone. It's all over the news every single day.
Every day.
And it'll be hitting our personal pocketbooks at the same time. So we'll be
Okay.
surprised.
So then as far as the budget presentation, I did talk to the sheriff, of course, for her budget book that's given to board that first or that meeting in June. She's happy and content with the books, the detailed books, the way that they've been presented in the past. Now, the little budget and brief for each member that was handed out, has that been useful to the members? Would you like to see that again? We could actually have that done with the tentative budget presentation for your review. And then if there are changes, we can quickly change that and have it ready once the budget is adopted, so that you have that for community awareness, involvement, whatever meetings you might have with your community.
I think that would be great. Lisa, I think you've snuck a little closer to the computer and you're back to being gargly. So
I'm so sorry.
it's okay. We're not sure what's causing it, so we're just trying to help.
Thank you. That's all I have on the process. The dates, are statutory, that the sheriff presents the tentative budget by that first meeting in May. We only have one meeting, so the board, last year and hopefully this year, as soon as we know with the benefits and compensation, we'll be able to give preliminary numbers earlier like we did last year. But that formal budget presentation will come to you in May. That will give the board, time to review, ask questions, make changes for adoption at the June meeting. And that's all I have about the process.
Don't move from that spot right there.
Okay, I'm
Perfect.
stuck.
I'll make a bet you're going to find out it has nothing to do with distance. Oh, God.
Lisa, I think the budget and briefs are very good, especially considering we have so many new board members. I think
Yes.
they'll find that extremely helpful in navigating explanations to others and sharing the information. So I think you've done such a great job. I think we should stick with it. So thank you.
You're welcome, and thank you.
I like the more individual, the smaller ones specific to Magna. That can be our working document in the months leading up to one binder print one time in June.
Great.
Thanks.
Any other comments? Thank you, Lisa. Do we have any other business for item 5? Wow, then this made this a real short meeting, so we can adjourn and I can drive without driving in the snow. Get back home.
Chair, I should have jumped in here when you said, is there another piece of business? I just want the committee and then the board to know that UPD was under the threshold for the required threshold for a single audit. So that's our expenditure of federal funds in a fiscal year. So the single audit has a different deadline, because that's a federal filing, a federal requirement and audit from the state, from our financial audit. And so last year, everyone was late filing their single audit, and UPD did have a single audit last year because the feds had not published their audit requirements for the COVID funds. This particular year, we did not have a single audit, in case anyone's wondering, because we were under the threshold. We still went through the whole process. We still created our schedule of expenditures of federal awards. We have to do that and gather all of the backup documentation in order to determine whether or not we needed a single audit. However, we did not.
That must be good news.
Can I ask just a quick question before we hang up? Since we've got just a second, I'm curious if we know where those health insurance premium increases are coming in right now. Have you heard their projected renewal percentage?
I can jump in on that. So the initial numbers that we're getting is we're looking at about a 6.5% increase.
And then what are you hearing about COLAs? Are you hearing any rumors or discussions about where the start point is? I know all of us are really, wrestling with where we're going to land on that. I know UFAs came in at they want to start at 7%, but I think everybody's just all out there and trying to determine where they're going to land on that. And I'm just curious if you've heard anything and if we've got any kind of initial start point there.
I haven't heard. We have had a conversation with our chiefs, trying to go out and gather information. I know the sheriff attended a meeting with the other chiefs in the valley, and they talked about sharing some of that information. I haven't heard anything back on that yet, but I do know that the inflation that we're anticipating right now is definitely a big factor.
Thanks.
Can I jump in here one more time? I promise I didn't move. The CPI for the Western region of the US, the last time I checked, which was 2 or 3 weeks ago, is at 7.8%. Now, it might have changed since then, but that is the last, inflationary number that I've been able to see. And it was just on the CPI, and you can look at which region of the country you're in.
That's very helpful. Thank you, Lisa.
Mm-hmm.
I'll just share that our labor group within the UFA is keeping a very close eye on the CPI index, and it's currently at 8.6, what I'm being told.
What does CPI stand for?
I think it's the Consumer Price Index.
Okay. Thank you. Any other business? Okay. Then I guess we will adjourn. We don't have to take a motion on that. We'll adjourn. Thank you, everybody, for coming.
Thanks, everyone.
Thanks.